Chapter 3, Mishnah 4. We learned in the previous Mishnah that it is forbidden to shear a Bechor even if it is blemished. Once the Bechor is slaughtered, however, just as its meat becomes permitted, so too any hair or wool still attached to it becomes permitted. Biblically, even the shearings of a live blemished Bechor are permitted for benefit. The rabbis, however, were concerned that the Kohen might delay slaughtering the Bechor in the hope that more wool will fall off. This unnecessary delay could easily lead to mistakenly violating the Torah's prohibition of shearing the animal or working with it. The rabbis therefore prohibited the wool of the animal for benefit. The Mishnah discusses whether the wool becomes permitted after the animal's death. If the hair of a blemished Bechor fell out and the owner placed it in a cubbyhole for safekeeping, and afterward he slaughtered the Bechor, Akavya ben Mahalalel permits that wool for benefit, like the wool still attached to the animal at the time of slaughter. But the sages forbid any benefit from the wool. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that the dispute between Akavya ben Mahalalel and the sages is only in a case where the Bechor was slaughtered. If, however, the Bechor died without being slaughtered, they agree that hair or wool that fell off while the animal was still alive remains forbidden for benefit. A different version of the dispute. Rabbi Yossi said, it is not in that case where the hair fell out and the Bechor was then slaughtered that Kavya permitted the hair and the sages forbid it. For in that case, everyone agrees that the hair is permitted for benefit. Rather, they argued in a case where the hair of a blemished Bechor fell out and the owner placed it in a cubbyhole, and afterward the Bechor died. In this case, a Kavya ben Mahalalel permits the hair for benefit, while the sages forbid it due to the concern that the Kohen might keep the Bechor alive in order to collect more hair that falls off. The Mishnah teaches the law regarding wool that became detached from a Bechor but remains entangled in the wool still attached to the animal. If wool became detached from a Bechor but is still hanging from the wool around it, and the Bechor was then slaughtered and all its wool sheared off, the law regarding the hanging wool is as follows. That which appears to be part of the shearing and not separate is permitted, as with the rest of the shearing that has now become permitted through the Bechor's slaughter. But that which does not appear to be part of the shearing, i.e. the hanging wool that extends very far from the fleece so that it appears separate, is forbidden, because it is viewed as if it had become completely detached while the Bechor was alive, and such wool does not become permitted by the Bechor's slaughter.